Hello Wolfpack. Bitcoin is in a bear market, and as you guys know, a bear market is the best time to make money in cryptocurrency. Not because you're going to make the money, but because you're going to set yourself up for the next bull market, and you're going to make a bunch of money in that next bull market because of the positions you took in the bear market. And so a lot of people ask me because of this, well, Wolves of Crypto, what altcoins are you going to buy when Bitcoin bottoms out this year? You know, when are you going to buy those altcoins? What altcoins are you going to buy? What are the fundamentals of those altcoins? What do you expect those altcoins to do? To all of that, I say no, and I reject it. Why? Because I think buying altcoins this year and buying altcoins when Bitcoin finds a macro bottom is a terrible idea, and I'm going to tell you why in this video. Now, on this chart, I have outlined 3 vertical lines, and these lines represent the Bitcoin halvings that are relevant to this video, right? We have July 4th, 2016, we have May 11th, 2020, and we have the next halving, which is going to happen in July 2024. It's impossible to know exactly when. Now, these dates, doesn't really matter if they're exactly correct or not. The point is July 16, May 2020, and we've applied that to the Ethereum chart. So we've got July 16 and May 2020, right? So essentially, those are the halving dates for Bitcoin. Those are when Bitcoin halved, right? So essentially, the mining rewards halved for Bitcoin. That's why the 4-year cycle exists. It happens because every 4 years there is a halving. Now, why is this relevant? It's relevant because the halving typically happens in a bear market. It doesn't happen at the bear market bottom, though. What you'll notice is that Bitcoin finds a bottom, and then about a year and a half later, we see the halving. That's happened on 2 separate occasions. Happened in 2015 to 2016, and it also happened in 2018 to 2020, okay? So about a year and a half later, we find, after finding the bottom of Bitcoin halves, right? And we can expect a very similar thing to happen in this cycle. That's why I think that Bitcoin's going to be bottoming out towards the end of the year, okay? And then about a year and a half later, which is July 2024, we're going to be seeing the halving. So that's not anything new. That's a recurring trend. Everyone is probably well aware of that. But why wouldn't you buy Bitcoin when why wouldn't you buy altcoins when Bitcoin bottoms? Right? That's a question some people get confused with, because if Bitcoin's at the lowest point, that generally means the altcoin market cap's going to be at the lowest point, which means altcoins are going to be at the lowest point they ever go. Simple reason, right? Very simple reason. The risk is much higher because you're not sure where the market is going to go in that year and a half until the bull market triggers. Because the bull market is triggered by the halving. You'll notice in 2016 here, when the halving happened, only about a month later, we kicked off this massive rally. Same thing in 2020. Only about a couple of months later, we kicked off a massive bull market rally, okay? You'll notice that there is a year and a half from the bear market bottom, right, to that halving point, which means there's a year and a half of progression in society, progression in technology, progression in altcoins, and technology in general, where those altcoins that you would have bought at the Bitcoin bottom are falling behind in technological advancement and are not actually as new or as relevant. Right? We've seen this in many cycles before. Why do you think Dino coins like EOS, like even Litecoin, right? Coins like Bitcoin Cash, for example, all of these coins that are fundamentally quite good, but just fall behind? It's because they're old. They don't have enough attention. They don't have enough hype. When a coin comes onto the market, it's advertised in a certain way that's propelled by, YouTubers and Twitter influencers. It's a fresh new coin. This coin is brand new, and it's your chance to get in while it's young, while it's still on the floor, and you can get in, and it can be the next Bitcoin, right? That's how every coin's advertised. But when those coins are years and years old, and even a year and a half old, right? And this is the risk of buying at the bear market bottom instead of at the halving, right? You lose that marketing point. You lose the marketing point of it being new technology. You lose the marketing point of being revolutionary technology. And that's why even coins like Solana, even coins like Avalanche, even coins like Polygon, while they're really good now, okay, the bull market is in 4 years' time, 3 years' time. We're not sure whether they're going to be good in that period of time. We're just simply not sure where the technology is going to go. And so buying them at the Bitcoin bottom is a very, very risky game. The best place to buy them, in my opinion, is at the halving. And it's not only because of the technological advancements. If we look at the data and we look at the charts themselves, what we can see is that it's actually a price thing too. This is the Ethereum chart, okay? What we can see in the last cycle for Ethereum is Ethereum bottomed at the same time as Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin bottom, right? This was the halving on Ethereum. Ethereum only moved up a very small amount from the Bitcoin bottom time to the halving time, meaning that altcoins actually don't go anywhere in the bear market. And so when you're buying an altcoin at the Bitcoin bottom, right, the chances are, according to the data, it's probably not going to go anywhere until the Bitcoin halving, which is a year and a half later. So not only are you putting yourself at risk of that technology becoming outdated and the hype going away, but you're also not really standing to gain much in terms of price action. Right, and I know you think, well, you're looking at Ethereum, that's not really good representation of all altcoins. Let's look at the total 3, right? That's for later. Let's look at the total 3 market cap chart, right? What we saw is the exact same thing, okay? Here we had the Bitcoin bottom, and then the halving was here in, let me get a vertical line out. The halving was here in May 2020. The whole market cap of altcoins as a whole went up basically nothing, right? Not much at all. Only doubled, only 2x in about a year and a half from the Bitcoin bottom to the halving, which means that if you're buying altcoins at the Bitcoin bottom, again, not only are you putting yourself at risk of missing out on the hype of being a new coin or that technological kind of gap you're putting yourself in, you're also missing out on price action, or you're not missing out on price action, but you're exposing yourself to excessive risk because the price action is not going to be that good. Okay, altcoins don't go anywhere during a bear market. Altcoins don't go anywhere during a Bitcoin bottom, from the Bitcoin bottom to the halving. I hope this makes sense, right? They're not doing anything in that year and a half. They're going sideways and dying out, and then people are losing interest. They only pick up momentum when the halving happens because people are getting excited for the new bull run. That's a very important point. Right, let's look at the total too, and we can see the same thing happening, right? In the 2015 cycle, that is when Bitcoin bottomed, right? January 2015 is when Bitcoin bottomed. And over here in July 2016, let me find that, is when the halving occurred, okay? Now, in 2018, for example, and this is a much better example, right, because that's very old, 2018, we saw the halving occur in May 2020, when the Bitcoin bottom happened here in December 2018. Bitcoin bottom happened at $40 billion. Right, the May 2020, the halving happened at 80 billion. So again, the entire altcoin market cap only 2x'd in the year and a half, where if you buy altcoins at the Bitcoin bottom, you know, you're only standing to gain a 2x in that year and a half period, but you're putting yourself at excessive risk of that technological kind of decline in those altcoins and people losing interest in those altcoins. So you're much better off, according to the data, in my opinion, weighing risk-reward ratios, buying altcoins at the halving, right? Because at least the altcoins you buy at the halving will still be relevant. Now, let's look at, I know this gets a little bit confusing here, but let's look at some of the altcoins that performed well in the last bull market, right? In 2021 bull market. What we saw is that none of these altcoins were actually around when Bitcoin bottomed out in the bear market in 2018. They only came into the space. They only just arrived into the space after Bitcoin bottomed out, just before the halving, right? Because people were looking at the halving for altcoins that were brand new, ready to go in the next bull market, still had the hype, and they looked at these coins that came out only 6 months ago, you know, in 2019, after Bitcoin bottomed out. They're like, these ones are going to perform well in the bull market. They didn't look at altcoins, you know, if we're in 2024, you know, you're not going to be looking at altcoins that came out in 2020 or 2019 for the new, brand new coins that are going to perform well. You know, you're going to be looking for coins that came out in 2023 or 2022, right? Before, you know, after Bitcoin bottomed out in the bear market. You're looking for projects that came out in the bear market, not the ones that came out in the last bull market, because the hype's already gone, right? You look at Terra, right? This came out in 2019 after the Bitcoin bottom. You know, Solana, this came out in 2020 after the Bitcoin bottom. Avalanche, same thing. Even Shiba, same thing. SafeMoon, same thing. Polygon, same thing. Cosmos, right? These are some of the biggest names of this cycle, right? Chainlink, same thing, you know? All of these coins, they weren't even on the space. They weren't even in the public eye at all when Bitcoin bottomed out in the 2018 bear market. So if you're planning to buy coins in the bear market, at the bottom of the Bitcoin bear market, you know, you're going to miss out on all these new projects because you're going to be overexposed in these old coins, right? You want to be waiting for the halving, because then not only do you not have to wait that long for the next bull market, because it basically kicks off at the halving, right? You're also going to have an opportunity to buy into some of the newer altcoins that are actually going to pick up attention. Because I hate to say it, and a lot of people are going to dislike this, right? But all of these coins, Terra, Solana, Avalanche, Shiba, Polygon, Cosmos, they sound so new and they sound so fresh and cool to all of us right now. But in 2024, 2025, when the next bull market's in full swing, these are going to be dino coins. They're going to sound just like EOS, just like Bitcoin Cash, just like Ethereum Classic, right? They're going to sound exactly the same because they're going to be old. There's going to be no attention around them. They're not going to be hyped up because they're not new anymore. And what they deliver might be outdated. You know, the chances are in the next 3 years until the next bull market, there's going to be or 2 years, there's going to be so many coins that come out to challenge these coins, so many fresh projects with new teams, younger teams, more, you know, experience in the industry potentially, that are going to absolutely dominate them. And, you know, the price action might not return to these levels we've seen before, that we've seen in 2021. So I suppose, you know, when you're buying coins and when people ask me, you know, Wolves of Crypto, why aren't you going to buy coins at, you know, or what are you going to buy at the Bitcoin bottom at 24K this year? You know, I just want to say, I'm not going to be buying anything long term. I'm just going to be trading until the halving. And when the halving comes, that's when I'll be buying my long term bags. That's when I can look for the new coins that comes out. That's when I can look for the new projects with the best fundamentals that are going to perform well, right? I'm not going to buy them now, because if I'm buying them now in 2022, I'm going to predict what's going to happen in 2025. That's what I'm going to try to do, right? If I'm buying in 2022, I have to predict what's going to be popular in 2025 bull market. I can't do that. I can't predict 3 years in the future. Where if you buy in the halving, you're only predicting what's going to be popular 6 months to a year ahead, right? It's much easier. It makes a lot more sense. And you're going to have the potential to look out, look for coins that only came out in 2023 and 2024. Rather than buying now in 2022, you won't even be able to look at coins that came out in the future because you've already got your bags are full. In a time when government regulation constantly threatens crypto investors, being able to access an exchange without KYC being mandatory is absolutely exceptional. This is great for me personally as an Australian, because a lot of other exchanges out there like Binance don't allow me to access options due to Australian regulation. BitGet additionally is also host to trading fees even lower than the vast majority of the major exchanges at just 0.2% per trade. Sign up to BitGet using my referral link in the pinned comment below or the description box, and you will receive up to 153 USD deposited into your account as a reward. Essentially, the point is, I'm not going to be buying altcoins at the Bitcoin bottom. Reason number one, they don't even perform well at all anyway during the bear market. They just go sideways, right? They might go slightly upwards. Reason number two, right? If I'm buying altcoins in 2022, I'm trying to predict the future 3 years ahead, which is very, very hard, right? And reason number three is the fact that if I'm buying altcoins in 2022, I'm not able to, look back in 2024, understand the innovations that's happened in 2023 and 2024 and adapt. I'm just stuck with those coins from 2019, 2020. I'm stuck with those old coins that are going to be dino coins in a few years, right? Because NFTs, for example, I know the video is still kind of going on here, but NFTs, who's going to predict NFTs were going to be the big thing in 2021 back in 2018? No one could predict that. And so, if you waited until the halving, you would have been able to predict that more likely. And so, that's one of the reasons there. Now, to finish off the video, I want to look into a few comments that I've got in my last videos. Now, I do a comment section thread at the end of every video here. Let me see if I can find them, where I look into some comments that I like the look of, that I think are helpful, and I try and answer them as best as I can here. So let's go ahead and look at these. Mr. G says, BTC acts like it's a twin of the NASDAQ. Is it possible that this connection makes it very hard for Bitcoin to drop another 30 to 50%? Right? To that, I would say, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's connected or not to the NASDAQ, because we're going into a recession. What happens in a recession? The NASDAQ goes down, hence Bitcoin goes down. Right? If you think the NASDAQ can't go further down, all you need to do is zoom out. I'm zooming out to a chart from 1980s all the way through to the current price action. Look at the current correction. Look how small it looks compared to some of these bigger corrections, right? All of these corrections with the NASDAQ, for example, the dot-com bubble, right? Look at this. The NASDAQ literally went down. This is straight up the data. Literally went down in 2 years, 83%, right? If we look at something like the global financial crisis, in about another 2-year period, it went down 54%. Right, even something like the COVID drop, or even let's not even look at the COVID drop. Let's just look at a random price point in 2018 when the economy was a little bit unstable. It wasn't necessarily a recession though. It went down 22%, right? COVID drop, 29%, 30% in a month, right? Right now, what are we down on the NASDAQ? I mean, realistically, what are we down? Let's see. We're down 23%, and we're going into a recession. 23%, all that money printing during COVID, all of that debt taken on, all of that inflation, we're only down 23%. So to act like Bitcoin can't go down any further, I know that's not what you're saying, but the fact of the matter is the NASDAQ can definitely drop a lot further than current prices. In fact, it's very overvalued. And one little observation I'd like to make is that the last time the NASDAQ did this acceleration of gain, where it swooped upwards like this, right, was right before the dot-com bubble, where it went down 83%. Right, it's doing it again. It's doing that acceleration where it's swerving upwards and then it's starting to crash, right? I'm not saying it's going to go down 83% again, but I'm just saying this correction is for sure just starting. So yes, the NASDAQ can go down a lot more and Bitcoin can hence go down a lot more. Could you do a video on how Bitcoin follows, how Ethereum follows the Bitcoin 4-year cycle? I don't need to do a video on it. I can explain it very, very quickly, okay? So essentially, Ethereum bottoms out in the bear market at the same time as Bitcoin. We saw that in 2015 and we saw that in 2018 here, right? Ethereum always bottoms at the same time as Bitcoin. However, Ethereum does not always top at the same time as Bitcoin. Why is that? Because of an altcoin season. Okay, Bitcoin topped in December 2017. Ethereum topped in January 2018 because of the altcoin season. Ethereum usually tops about 2 weeks later than Bitcoin, or about a month later in the Bitcoin in a bull market. However, in a bear market, it always bottoms at the same time. But essentially, if you take away those altcoin season pumps or whatever, essentially Ethereum just follows Bitcoin overall on a longer term trend, on a longer term basis. It does exactly the same thing. When Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum goes up. When Bitcoin goes down, Ethereum goes down in every single period of time except for an altcoin season, which happens very, very rarely. Okay, that's all you really need to know about Ethereum. For example, in 2021, May 2021, we had an altcoin season. You remember Bitcoin topped out in April 2021, and then Ethereum went on to run up for like 3 weeks, and then it topped out in May. But in November, we didn't have an altcoin season, so Ethereum topped out with Bitcoin, and it will probably bottom out with Bitcoin in the bear market. So again, Ethereum goes up when Bitcoin goes up when Ethereum goes up when Bitcoin goes up. Ethereum goes down when Bitcoin goes down, except for the very rare occurrence of an altcoin season, which crypto YouTubers love to talk about it happening every single week, but in reality, it only happens like, once every bull market or twice every bull market. So it's a bit ridiculous to say it happens every week. I suppose it depends on, definition of the altcoin season, but if we're talking about a season in which altcoins go parabolic, that's only happened really like twice. It happened in 2018 and it happened in 2021. Right, so it hasn't really happened that much, and for the amount people talk about it, you'd have to act like it happens every day, but it really doesn't. Moving on to the next question here. As much as your explanation makes sense, I even liked your video. I really think that this is not over yet, and we will see 6 digits before the bear market. He's referring to Bitcoin. Altcoins are on the lows. There's coins that did not even run yet, like EOS, Bitcoin Cash, and XMR. These are not shit coins, and I do think it is a coincidence. I don't think it is a coincidence. So he's referring to the fact that some altcoins haven't really ran yet. Again, it's actually very relevant to this Bitcoin, to this video we've done. We talked about EOS, we talked about Bitcoin Cash. He's talking about Monero as well. We talked about, we could have brought up XLM, for example, but that's another coin. These are all coins that were popular in the previous bull markets because they just came out and they were very hyped up and everyone was still crazy about the technology and it was brand new and had that FOMO effect because it was brand new and no one knew what was going to happen with them. But now that they've been out for a long period of time, by 2021, they're old coins, they're old news, and people are more interested in Terra, Solana, Avalanche, Shiba, Polygon, Cosmos, and so these coins weren't relevant anymore, right? That's the reason they didn't go up. They didn't go up as much as you think, or much as you wanted them to go up. It wasn't because, Bitcoin hasn't seen the cycle yet. It's just because they're not relevant anymore. There's thousands of altcoins for people to choose from, and old coins don't necessarily get in the spotlight that much anymore. And I'd encourage you to kind of think about how much they really went up, because EOS did really have a bit of a cycle. And I know Bitcoin Cash had a cycle as well. I mean, if you're looking at the data, yeah, they didn't go to their all-time highs, but from the bear market lows, I mean, if we're just taking from the COVID drop low, this thing went up 10x. Right? That's still a considerable amount. So it's not like they didn't have a cycle at all. They still went up. It's just they're losing popularity, right? They aren't relevant anymore. And this is a very old chart, I'd like to say, right? I don't think you should be accumulating EOS anymore. This chart is, I'm assuming this chart was made somewhere in July 2021, because that's when I first started talking about EOS on the channel. But I'm not a believer in EOS anymore. I don't like EOS. I think that the team definitely let it down. But essentially, just for an example, that's what the EOS chart looks like. So yeah, you can say it didn't run, but in reality, it went up 10x. If you don't call that a run, I don't know what it is. And Bitcoin Cash is the same deal, right? So Bitcoin Cash USD, we'll go to that chart here. And let me actually go to the Coinbase chart because I'll get more price data. So you can say Bitcoin Cash didn't have a cycle, but in reality, again, from the bear market lows in 2018, this thing went up, 22x. So it really did run. Just because it didn't run up to all-time highs, it doesn't mean it didn't run. It didn't run up to all-time highs because it's not relevant anymore. It's an old coin, it's old news. People don't like old news, right? That's not to do with the fundamentals. The fundamentals might be great, but it's just not hyped up anymore. That kind of ties into the video we made today. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Essentially, to summarize the main points, not really that logical, in my opinion, to be buying Bitcoin, to be buying altcoins at the Bitcoin bottom this year. I think you should be waiting for the halving if you're going to buy that long-term bag, because that's when you're going to be able to get a better overview of what's going on in the market and what's relevant